Well, it's been a few months, but we're back again, working on Dad's little chopper back here. This is the KZ440, which we're stretching the tail on and lowering it all at the same time. So I've got the tape measure set up here to figure out whereabouts we're going to get our rear axle plates mounted at. So using the tape measure here and looking at the end of the swing arm to the beginning of the axle plate, we're looking at about 4 inches of length, which is where I wanted to put it. And the reason why is because the lower strut right here, which is going to attach to the frame right about there, will come up into the right placement to come up to that. So that way we can use the maximum length of that strut. The upper, however, is a little too long for what we're looking to do. So the upper will be cut a little bit and get it into place. But you see it's kind of passing where we need it to go, so we're going to be trimming that one down a little bit. But that should get the approximate angles that we're looking for, and to keep the lower part of the frame here straight. I don't want to do an upward angle or a downward angle. I've seen all kinds of goofy stuff down there, but I want to keep this bar perfectly straight out the back. So that's what we're going for. Guess what we're doing? We're doing science. So anyway, as you can see right here, we got the swing arm kind of flopping around. I've got a jack under it so that way I could figure out the approximate height, and that's where we're going to put it. Now this swing arm is an excellent guide because it figures your wheel center. So if I keep the distance between the axle plates the same as this one, I can use the stock spacers and everything. So here we are. We've got the axle plates put on here, along with a custom strip that we used to extend the swing arm out to where we wanted it to go. So that's going to be the location of our axle. You get a 9.5 inch spread here between the two axle plates on the factory swing arm, and then extending them back to here, we have that same 9.5 inches at the new axle plates. So in other words, the wheel and spacers should drop right into here, no problem. So as you can see, I ran a straight edge along here and I created the line down to the axle plate back there. We got the sucker welded on so she's nice and tight, and from there we can start getting the lower struts put on, which is going to go from approximately there up to here. So that's what we're looking at. Looking right here at the axle dropped into the new axle plates, aligned with the engine bolts there, you can see everything is nice and square. So we're looking at a nice horizontal axle, the way it's supposed to be, perfectly lined up. Here's a little preview of what the upper strut's going to look like. Got that sucker in there, I got just clamped on temporarily. So now that I've got that made, what I'll do is I'll take that, lay it on top of the one for the other side, and cut it identically, and then drop it into place as well, tack it together, and then we'll get started on the bottom. Alright, there she is with the upper struts tacked into place. I got the line with the backbone that was looking to get pretty straight. I had to jog down just a little bit right there because the upper struts actually turned out to be a little bit short. But we got them tacked into place and they look pretty good. They're nice and square, so everything lines up with the frame good. So we're happy with that. I think the thing is starting to take shape. It's actually looking pretty good. And there's the pair of denim pants that I used to lay over that engine while I was welding. And we had a small fire with the denim. It actually flared up from one of the frayed edges where the pants were torn. Yeah, there she is. I got the upper struts tacked into place. You can see there, this is how the rear wheel will get in there and how the tank's going to fit on. Looks pretty good. I really like what we're seeing here. I need to go and get the lower struts put on there next, which will come down like this and then run along to the bottom of the frame. So we're going to jump onto that next and see if we can get it done before we lose sunlight. Well, there she is with the full hardtail welded on. Still got the swing arm in place. So once we get this thing professionally welded, the swing arm will be removed from here which has knocked the welds off in here that's holding it all together. That's what's keeping it square. It's remarkably strong, considering it's just tacked together. It's supporting its own weight, so that'll be good. So I can park it in the garage like a regular bike instead of having to prop it up. So I can go back on its kickstand. So anyway, it's looking good. We're going to go ahead and knock this thing off of the trailer, which by the way makes a great work center, and put it back in the garage. I had predicted that there was a little air leak between the tire and the rim, and I put a little dish soap on there, as you can see, and it bubbled the whole way around. So this entire bead is leaking on both the left and the right hand sides of this tire. So I'm going to have that tire pulled off, have the rim cleaned up and the tire cleaned up, and the tire put back on. Otherwise, the tire looks to be in good shape, no dry rot or anything. So probably it just went flat, sat for a while, and got a little corroded in there because it was sitting in an outdoor, non-climate controlled shed. So that's probably what happened. The back tire, however, is just fine. So we'll get that straightened out too. One other small problem that we seem to have run into is that the bike is too big. As you see, it won't fit. It's just way too big to fit in the old space that it used to be. So I'm going to have to move some things around the garage to make sure this thing gets in there.